What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Oh, excuse this goddamn shirt. I didn't feel like changing it. Fuck it. We'll deal with it. But anyway, Hit the Floor is back, season 3. And let me just tell y'all this. I know, and I'm not trying to be insensitive because, shit happens and I understand. They lost one of their actors or dancers, Stephanie, I think in the summer slash spring, probably late spring, early summer, around that time. So I don't know if that really has something to do with production because, to be honest, no offense to Stephanie, may she rest in peace and all my condolences to her family because her situation was fucked up the way that she. Y'all gotta be careful who the fuck it is that y'all fucking with. These niggas be out here crazy as shit. Um, she really wasn't she had y'all not put it out there, I would have known who she was. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. So I was like, what the hell was the hold up for the production of the new season for Hit the Floor? Because y'all know it usually come back on like Memorial Day week or Memorial Day or whatever the fuck. I mean, it said season 3, but I'm like, damn, can we be consistent or whatever? This was kind of long. What was the big hold up? The budget? VH1 was trying to play games with the budget or whatever. What was happening? But either way, I'm glad that it's back. But don't you ever take no long. If y'all gonna come back next year, for Hit the Floor, it better come back on a regularly scheduled program because I didn't forget the majority of the shit that happened. All I know is Oscar finally went to jail and Kimberly Lee's character. What is her name? Let me look this up because I didn't forget. Okay, we got Derek and Asha. We got love triangle between Derek, Asha, and German. Okay, I'm just trying to give y'all a refresher course right quick from what I remember from my standpoint. All right, season 1, season 2. Season 1, Asha came on the scene all naive, wanted to be a devil girl, because her mama used to be a devil's girl too. She didn't know that her daddy was Pete, the coach of the Devils team, and then she found that out. But she was with German. German was a little high school basketball teacher, coach and all that stuff. And then, like in the second season, he wound up becoming the assistant coach to Pete, and he also got his girl taken by Derek. I should just gave that pussy to him, like, I can't resist you, like, there you go. I didn't have the white chocolate, let me try the dark chocolate. But it's kind of good, so I'm gonna stay with that for a minute until Derek started exhibiting some type of, druggish behavior and almost got them arrested and kind of got her arrested with some coke in the car at one point last season. And they just had this tumultuous relationship. It just wasn't ever going to really work. And then after all of that shit, she went back to German at the end, right? Mind you, throughout the whole series or whatever, they always getting these notes and stuff talking about some, oh bitch, I know what you was doing, and you did this and you did that, and all this stuff. I know your secret. We like, who is doing this? And then the main girl, the leader of the Devil's Girl who did the choreography and all that stuff, Olivia, she wound up getting killed. They tried to put it on her husband, Rick Fox, and kind of found out it wasn't her, and we found her body at the opening of Breaking Grounds or whatever for the new stadium where Oscar was. Oscar is the head of the whole Devil's organization, right? And he crooked, sending girls out to sex dudes and stuff, trying to get higher bids and, people to invest into the team and all this stuff, extortion and all that bribery and all that bullshit, And what is her name? Asha Mama. Kimberly Elise character. Hold on. I remember everybody. Sloan. There you go. Okay. So basically, the information, Sloan went underground and she got all this information and finally got his ass locked up. All right, fine. Then we get the bitchy head of the Devil's Girl team, Yelena. Bitch, I said her name right. Y'all remember last season, the season before, I couldn't say that bitch name for shit. Yelena, we got her shit right. She just a bitch. She had it out for Asha for the whole time, ever since season 1. And she did all this fucked up shit to them, and Asha tried to come back, and every time Asha come back at her, she came back a little bit harder, and they had this little benefit or whatever where she put Sloan on blast and said basically Sloan was a little hoe. Back in the day, she was a drug addict hoe, and I said, damn girl, you ain't have to go that far. Yelena, she's the bitch of the season that you don't want to like, but you kind of like because, I don't know, I just can't see her being good at all. And I'm here for the bitchiness because we need a bitch in the thing. We need a bitch. and that she was that bitch, and she even drugged her own man. Her own man. Mind you, it's a rule that the Devil's Girls dancers couldn't be fraternizing with the freaking players. But for some reason, it's okay that, the star basketball player of the team, Terrence, and her was fucking around. And she thought he was finna marry her. But he was like, nah, boo, I'm finna leave this town. And in order to let them stay, she drugs him or whatever so that no other team would want to get him. And then he found out. And then they broke up. She started fucking with Zero. Mind you, y'all remember that time when Zero and her fucked in the church? I said, blasphemy. Lord, strike them down, not me. And then Zero come to find out that motherfucker bisexual. He just go whichever, he queer. He just go whichever his dick flows or whatever. And then we have Jude, which was Oscar Kincaid, son. And that's who Zero was messing around with. Oscar found out that Jude was gay and said, bitch, you ain't no son of mine. I don't care. I was like, ooh, you finna go to jail just for that, you know? And then we have Kyle, who was just going around fucking everybody that had some money, getting her paper up, so that she can bail somebody out of jail or some shit that she had to do. It was a lot. It was a lot. We have Raquel. She used to be on the Devil's Girl in the first season, and then Yelena voted against her, so she got put off the team, and she wound up working at the bar, the establishment that all of them usually go to or whatever. And then her big secret, everybody had a secret that they didn't want to get out last season, and her secret was she was in the country illegally and she needed a green card. So Cal was like, bitch, I'll marry you because gay marriage is legal in all states now. And I was like, okay, that was cute. And they was literally, when the show started, we found out at the end, we was like, the whole big old question was who killed Olivia in the second season? Who killed her? Come to find out, this is why I love Hit the Floor, because at that time, we did not know. No one knew. It could have been anybody, and they built everybody up to have a real reason to want to off that bitch. And I was like, damn, who killed her? I was like, this is how to get away with murder, the PG version. You know what I'm saying? And come to find out, it was German. It was German. He pushed the bitch over the banister and all that shit. And I was just like, oh shit, all right, and that's how they left it. I hope I talked about everybody that really mattered. And then there was Derek, Derek, Terrence wound up at the end of the championship game for the finals, whatever, for the ring. And Terrence went up for a basket. He came down and he broke his leg. This leads Derek to finish out the rest of the game, and he shoots the winning shot. So instead of it being Terrence being all the everybody praying for him or whatever, Derek became like the head man in charge and the one that everybody wanted to come after and be like, "Hey, Derek, you the boo! Oh my God, it's Derek, it's Derek!" He came the big man in charge, right? So that's how the season start. Oscar's in jail. Sloan, she finna testify and do all this stuff against him in court. You got the head commissioner of the league and all this stuff coming in trying to persuade her and be nice to her, whatever, so that she can won't basically put them on blast, because Sloan was trying to tell them, girl, this is what's going on, but they was trying to cover it up. They don't want to make it seem as if they was, really here for it. They didn't want to go down for it. You know what I'm saying? They trying to cover their tracks. Sloan said, I'm not here for this. He was like, here's my car. She was like, here's my door. I said, you better do it, Sloan. I always liked Sloan, okay? I always liked her. Bitch, Sloan and Pete still together. They up in there fucking and shit. Here come Asha bringing her regular ass up. And I said, Asha, knock on the damn door first, okay? That is why there is a doorbell out there for you to use that bitch. I don't care if you got a key. Knock on the door first. She's a grown woman. I mean, come on now. 2 + 2 = 4. That is correct. 2 + 2 = 4. Now, you've been out the house for a minute. Your mama and your daddy just now reconnecting again like this. So therefore, me being an adult, I know when the house is empty and my boo, and I got a boo now. Child, let me knock, because I don't want to come in on none, because I don't want to see all of that. Asha wasn't thinking that. Asha still looks like a little naive teenager trying to play dress up. She really do. Asha is no longer on the Devil's Girl team. Now, I cannot remember for the life of me if she quit or if she was fired. Put that down in the comments. If I missed anything, and y'all, I missed something in the little recap, put that down in the comments so that we can all connect the pieces, because I'm telling y'all, it's been over a year or so. No, it's been over a year. All right. So hell, I'm like, damn, did I get it? Then we got Lionel. Lionel is Pete's ex-wife, okay? She's an actress, and she was trying to get Pete back last season, right? She tried to get him back. At one point, he got drunk. They did have sex. She did get pregnant. I believe she lost the baby, and she realized that what she was doing wasn't working. He still wanted to be with Sloan and all this stuff. So she wound up, her and Yelena, they wind up hooking up together and concocting a plan. Well, shit. Not Sloan, Lionel wind up getting married to Oscar. So now whatever is his is hers. Now that he going to jail, she got power and control over it. And Yelena, she got shares of the Devil's team and all this stuff. And child is just a mess. So they working in cahoots, and Yelena acting like she got all this power and saying that, hey girl, I'm the one that put you up in this position. And she was like, girl, you put me up in this position, but hey, I'm still finna do my job regardless. I said, oh, Lionel is speaking back to Yelena, and I'm loving it. I love when two bitches go at each other because I just want to know who's going to be the bigger bitch. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it is between Yelena and Lionel. Because the whole thing is, since Terrence got hurt, he's healing up. But once again, he used to be the face of the team. Now he's not. It's all Derek. Derek or a Zero. They're fighting for that position. Them two are the face of the team. Zero is aiming to be the captain, but Derek is really being the face because he scored the winning basket in the championship game, and Lionel is looking to not put him back on the floor as a starting player. Terrence, okay? And Terrence understood that. He caught the underlying, stuff what she was saying. He tells Yelena. Yelena goes and had this conversation with Lionel, like, girl, I put you in this position. I can take you out. You gotta stop this bullshit. She was like, yeah, you put me in this position, but I'm finna tell you who the fuck is in control. I am. I said, oh, we gonna see how this play out. So Terrence go talk to Pete and basically had the same conversation, like this girl trying to basically kick me off the team and keep me on the bench and all this stuff, and our place ain't safe. And he is just over the bullshit. He really is. Because like Pete said, we don't know how this bitch gonna fly because she can fuck around and just fire everybody because she got that right. She the head. Then we see all this stuff that's going on, and Sloan hears all this stuff that's going on, and she just don't like the way Sloan and Lionel always bumped head because once again, Sloan is the woman that Pete always wanted. That was his love. And Lionel could never ever measure up to her regardless. And he went back to her. So remember the commissioner dude that came in trying to get on her good side and all this stuff. She found Tim and was like, okay, you can do this for me. I can fuck with you for a second. And what she wanted was to get the Kincaids out of office, get them out of the head of the team, and that's Lionel and Jude, the son. Because Zero, let's get into them. Zero was doing this photo shoot, whatever. He comes over there to Jude. Jude looking all jealous and stuff because, they fucked around. And I'm like, if y'all gonna be together, okay? Quit this. They playing too much. So basically, Jude wants no, Zero wants Jude to be his agent. Jude said, I'm gonna have to think about that shit. So while he's thinking about it, Lionel offers him the position of executive VP, vice president of whatever. Basically, that would make him the boss of everybody, the second boss of everybody. And so he goes back to Zero and was like, she offered me this position. I can't be your agent. He goes to Lionel and accepts the position with her. And I was like, we're going to see how this works out. So this is when Sloan is like, we got to get the Kincaids out of office because it's bullshit. Asha, she tried to bring her ass up to the, first of all, pause. Let's go back. Derek had came into German's office looking for Pete. No, it was Pete's office, but German was in there. And he was like, they gave me this for the All-Star game or for the championship. You want some cigars and stuff like that. They sat down. I said, the ex and the new and the old flame who lost the girl to the new flame, and the new flame who lost the girl to the ex, to the old flame and all that shit. Y'all sitting down and I'm trying to be mature and stuff, but you could tell I was just waiting for German to snap off. You know, like, how dare you come up in here, ask me, do you want to smoke a cigar with me? Asking me. Derek was bold. He was like, so how Asha is? I said, don't ask him about his girl. And she was like, he's fine. She not coming back up here, but she's fine. Leave her alone. And then I said, oh, okay. Mind you, Asha tried to come back up there because she auditioning for commercials and stuff. She didn't get the commercial, you know, because her heart isn't in it, because she's trying to, you know, she wants to be a devil's girl again. That's what we found out at the end. But she comes back to the stadium trying to get her stuff, and they will not let her in. The security guard was like, your badge is deactivated. You can't come in. She was like, my whole family works up here. It was like, so what? You can't come in. If it wasn't for Yelena bringing her bitchy ass over there, she was like, too bad I won't be here to see you out and all this stuff, because I got shit to do. But my, how the tables have turned and all this stuff. I said, Yelena just throwing it up in her face. She just don't give a shit. And of course, while she was there, Derek sees her. They lock eyes for a second. At the All-Star ring event where they again presented their rings and all this stuff, you know, once again, Derek sees Asha. They lock eyes again. Lionel is trying to get Derek to sign his new contract. Derek is like, I'm the big man on campus right about now, and I feel like I need to get more money. So until that happens, him in his tight ass suit is not about to sign the shit. Derek muscles look like if he would have just did one of these, that suit jacket arm would have just popped like this. I was just waiting for it. But after the little ceremony happened, Terrence goes and talks to Yelena. He faked like his leg was messed up and he fell. And what he really was doing was getting down on one knee. He finally went on ahead and proposed to her, you know. And I was like, oh, that was cute. We see a little humanized moment with Yelena. And the only time that we see Yelena actually showing like she got real emotions sometimes is with Terrence and also with Raquel. She could be a bitch to Raquel, but you could tell that she actually care about Raquel. And Raquel, her situation is, she's still living with Cal. I didn't know she was actually gonna move in, but they moved in and they come in. Asha was over there kicking it with Raquel. Cal comes in and they both going back and forth at each other. She was like, "Oh my God, Miguel found the toys and he did this and he did that." And she was like, "Girl, fuck the toys." He was like, "I'm talking about your toys." Found her sex toys. She was like, "I had to explain what the fuck an anal bead was. Lion said it was something else." I said, "Oh shit." I said, get the fuck. And they was really going back at each other like an old married couple. I'm sitting here like, if they fuck by the end of this season before she get her green card, I would not be surprised. I can see that shit going down, you know. But basically, it was tryouts for the Devil's Girls. And, you know, Yelena suggested that Raquel would go ahead and try out. And she was like, girl, no, mm-mm. And shout out to Ashley, you know, Beyonce head dancer. She was up there, had her little solo spot. I said, okay, Fro, you know, you see that red Fro, you know, that's her. Had a little speaking line too. I said, okay. And Raquel finally showed up. She was a little sloppy just a little bit because she hasn't been doing a lot of stuff. But after that, Yelena comes back down to where Raquel works and was like, how dare you miss a callback, a meeting with the Devil's Girls or whatever just because you feel like you did bad. Yes, your lines were sloppy. You couldn't get down and stretch the way that you used to. But here, you better put this uniform on. And I was like, oh my God. So she made it onto the team. And she was like, I'm not trying to make up for getting your ass kicked off last season, but I'm just saying, here your team, here your uniform. I was like, all right. So when Raquel came back to the locker room and Cal saw it, Cal was like, so you made it? Really? I don't know how this shit gonna work. I got my bitch at home already. Now I gotta see this bitch at work all the time. We gonna be bumping here. We gonna wind up killing each other. I love that little conversation they had in the parking lot when the dude come up talking about he finna do something with Cal's life story and all that stuff. Child, we gonna see. But what else happened? I know I hope it don't sound like I was rambling and trying to get through it all, but I'm just excited that it's back. And this episode was much, much, much like a reintroduction. So really not that much happened. Um at the ring ceremony or whatever. Oh, at the end, Asha was sitting down there because Asha wants to move back with Sloan. But Asha was at Jermon's house and, talking to him about how she didn't get the commercial, and it wasn't because they was looking for somebody else. It was just because her heart wasn't into it. She wants to be a Devil's girl again, but she can't go to. She don't know if she has the balls enough to go back and try to get on the team because she don't want to be humiliated if her secret gets out that Olivia knew, and this is what Olivia took to the grave with her, and this was what her secret was. Remember, last season, Asha won the All-Star Girl, Head Girl, Devil's Girl over Yelena, and the only reason why she won that is because she cheated. Olivia overstuffed the ballet box and all that, fixed it and all that shit so she could win. And she was like, if people found out that I was a fraud, I'd be humiliated, embarrassed, and all that shit. But then we got Jermon having nightmares about him killing Olivia. And that's how the episode ends with Olivia, no, him waking up from a bad dream, and then Asha like, why are you saying Olivia? You said her name like 3 times, in your sleep or whatever. Then they show this little scene where Oscar Kincaid is in his jail cell reading the newspaper, and they gave him his little his championship ring, and that motherfucker been up in there for a second, and you could tell he already thinking of a plan to fuck everybody over. Listen. If I missed something, put it down in the comments. But this season better give me everything, bitch. Y'all had over a year to get this shit hot. And I mean, I'm liking this cute little reintroduction. It was cute for what it was. Y'all set it up that we know that everybody's gonna be going at everybody. And we can already see who gonna be going at who. And y'all better do it the fuck right. But y'all tell me how y'all feel about it. And I will see you guys later. Peace.